speeches don't communicate as well as actions. People need to see that you're prepared. They need to witness that you're willing to work, and they need to see that you have attention to detail, not that you're just young and reckless.
You doing, Svante?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming by today.
Of course, I appreciate it. I appreciate the opportunity. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of what you're doing here, spotlighting young people, and I really believe in it. So thank you.
Thank you. And you were one of the youngest ever elected to the Ithaca City Council.
That's right.
In history?
I was 20 years old when I was elected. I was one of the youngest elected officials in the country, and when I was elected mayor at 24, I became the youngest mayor in New York State history.
Wow.
That was a long time ago. I've been in public office for 12 years now, and I met this mayor, I won't tell you where, but I met this mayor, and so I told him, oh, I'm the mayor of Ithaca. And he goes, oh yeah, Ithaca. Ithaca used to have a young mayor. What happened to that guy? Did he leave, or did you have to beat him in an election? And I was like, you know what, that's harsh. Because I'm 32 now. I'm now actually, if you'll believe it, still the youngest person in the chamber, if you count all the council members. But I'm the longest serving member in the chamber. So it's a neat nexus to be at. Still relatively young, but fairly experienced.
Mm-hmm. And what obstacles and struggles did you face, like running for office at a young age?
You know, I'll be honest with you, and I tell young people this, it's a double-edged sword. I think there's a lot of folks who believe that it's all downside, that if you're too young to run, you can't win. But the truth is, there are benefits to being young, right? There are people who believe, right or wrong, that young people are creative, that they're energetic, that they're looking for fresh approaches to break old paradigms, and they're not too worried about the left or the right, they just want to move forward. And there are a lot of voters who are looking for that, especially right now. So there are benefits to that, but there are challenges too. I mean, the other side of the sword is that voters assume that if you're young, you're irresponsible, that you aren't willing to work hard, that you aren't ready to sacrifice for the greater good. I think facing up to those challenges is possible, but you have to do it with your eyes wide open. You got to know that people are making assumptions about you. You've got to be prepared to counter those assumptions, not in a speech, because speeches don't communicate as well as actions. People need to see that you're prepared. They need to witness that you're willing to work, and they need to see that you have attention to detail, not that you're just young and reckless.
Mm-hmm. And I know that you brought a lot of innovative ideas to the city of Ithaca, and I want to hear about like what policies are you working on right now that affect the next generation?
Sure. Yeah. Thank you. We have tons of. We've made a lot of policies that have been followed nationally. Things like our stormwater fee, right, which is like the bleeding edge of environmental policy for cities, which charges property owners for how much rainwater they could be collecting but are otherwise displacing. And it was a beautiful fee because it not only gives us an increased amount of money to use for our own stormwater management system, but it's a really redistributive fee. Because it turns out, you know who's displacing a lot of stormwater and not paying for it? It's the Walmarts, the big box stores of the world, the shopping malls. And by taxing those corporations, we are able to more effectively make it more affordable for everyday working class Ithacans that live inside the city. It's an anti-gentrification tool as well as a sustainability tool. And in Health and Human Services, we've made some innovations, including proposing the first supervised injection facility in the entire country. This is a space in which people who are struggling with their addiction, with their substance abuse disorder, can use in an environment that encourages health and recovery. Right? So we'd have nurses. It's really an extension of what was viewed quite is a quite radical approach of syringe exchanges, right, in the 90s and 2000s. And that's a call that's been taken up now, not just by Ithaca, but we've been followed by Seattle, San Francisco, New York, and about a dozen other cities across the country.
Awesome. Keep up the good work on that.
Thank you.
And what advice would you give the next generation of leaders that want to run for office one day or get involved in some sort of public service position or activity?
Yeah, I believe firmly that young people have the energy, the creativity, and the moral authority that our government is lacking. And we need them to step up and to take this leap. The advice I would give them is the same advice I give anyone else, which is work hard, take care of the people closest to you, be honest with yourself, be honest with the public, be honest with your staff, and you'll be successful, right? But what I would say particularly to young people is that it's not as scary as you think it is. There's not as many barriers as you think there are. I think we imagine that there's a machine that's waiting out there trying to stop us. And sometimes there are individuals who are waiting out there trying to stop you, sure, but there's no machine. There's no machine that anyone who's dedicated and interested can't beat and can't topple. You can put together your own organization, you can do this. We need you to do this. That's the advice I give to young people.
So pretty much hard work pays off.
Hard work pays off, and get a team. Teams. There's nothing you can't do with community.
Right.
And if you have the right folks around you, you can change the world.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your
time. Of course, man. Thank you.
Appreciate it.